Actually, I've done 3 of those jobs, which is the minister hacker job, the Appleby job, but I've also done the Bernard job, which is being the special assistant to the minister. Now, if you refer to yes, minister, and then tell somebody, let your guard down, the Appleby in me comes out, So look, it's a different role. It's a different kind of, I would say, in a sense, a different mindset. To me, the big change was once you are political, once you're a minister, you are actually less departmental. You have a much greater exposure to the bigger picture. For starters, for example, when you sit in cabinet meetings, you have a full 360 view of the government, all the departments, what are their concerns. So you tend to see your own responsibilities in that light. Whereas if you are a secretary of a department, however enlightened you are, at the end of the day, you are very much, I won't say a prisoner of your department, but a champion of your department. So it is a difference. It is a difference. It is an evolution in a way. Obviously, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be doing it.
Which one did you enjoy more?
I always enjoy most what I'm doing currently.
See, that's the advantage of being a diplomat. Not one comma, full stop out of place. You can't get him swishing outside the off stop and get him caught behind. That's not going to happen.
One question again on your personal experience. Is there anything as a diplomat that you would have changed in terms of your minister in the past, of decisions taken that you thought you could have done differently now that you're a minister?
I've never thought about it that way, but I do want to tell you that, and I say this particularly of recent times, look, good ministries, good government in a way, it's very much on the basis of the minister and the secretary sort of working as a team. And when I was foreign secretary, I had Shishmaji as my minister, and we got along very, very well. You cover the beach, so you've actually seen it. Foreign policy being what it is also in all countries. Foreign policy today very much involves the executive head of the government. So the prime minister in our country is also very deeply involved. And as we get bigger, more capable, more global, that is something which is natural. It's not unique to us. In every country, every society, that has happened. So I would say almost, it's not like you do something as a secretary which you don't know as a minister, or it's a very, very collaborative kind of decision making, but by very nature. Or at least everything important tends to be, by definition, very, very collaborative. So maybe when I look back, not really. I think I'll be quite pleased with what we did.
A very collaborative partnership, but if I could ask you, Minister, were there any things that you didn't expect when you became a minister? Were there any surprises? Did you find that there were certain things that looked different when you were Foreign Secretary, but you had a completely different perspective about, in terms of the machinery, when you're minister?
Well, first of all, I didn't expect to become a minister. So, that was the first surprise. When I did, look, I had one great advantage. Okay, to be minister of a department which you have kind of grown up in is a huge advantage. And especially so in our case because, the Foreign Service is a one ministry service. Okay, I've worked in some other places outside, but by and large. So you know your organization very, very well. It's actually, you've come up that organization. That's an enormous advantage. Now, the downside of that is you then also need to liberate yourself from the day-to-days of that organization. You have to tell yourself when you're External Affairs Minister that you're not Foreign Secretary, that you don't you detach yourself from a lot of that, which I think I
You
tried.
start rewriting statements ever?
That's not a secretary or a
I
ministerial.
know, but when it comes to you, if you decide that you want to make some changes, and
It's always collaborative. So, but look, the initial days there is a transition, but I think I adjusted to it fairly quickly. And remember, a lot of I was learning new things as a political person. So I also, I couldn't be stuck in my old world. I mean, I had a new world I had entered, and I had a lot of learning out there. So a lot of my interest and energies went into that. So I think that's how I made the transition.
Just one, don't be guarded, just one honest answer on a mistake that you thought you made as a minister and a learning of sorts.
Why don't you tell me? Because honestly, as I said, look, the number of times you talk to each other, we are far more interactive than actually you people would imagine. So, I mean, if you're asking me whether decisions you made which you would have revisited, there could be, But they were not my decisions as a secretary or somebody else's decision as a minister. They were our decisions. And that's been very much, I would say, in a way, a hallmark of also the Modi government. I mean, there's a lot of emphasis put on team effort, on, you use sports analogy, okay? It's a very team-driven way of working. Not just between minister and secretary, but even between ministers. I mean, I think what I see, how much time I spend with my ministerial colleagues working out larger foreign policy issues, say finance, trade, health, civil aviation. How much we go into each other's offices, talk to each other, WhatsApp each other. It's actually far more than my recollection of previous governments, but then bear in mind I wasn't the minister, I was at that point the civil servant.
One of the most important points Dr. Jaishankar makes in his book, The India Way, and I think that's something which all of us need to reflect on, is that growing up and in our readings, we spend so much time reflecting on what American thinkers in strategy, war, or British thinkers, or German thinkers, maybe recently even Chinese thinkers have been writing, and there's so little reflection on Indian writings, Indian strategy, and you bring that out in your book. And I want to use this opportunity for you to reflect on that larger point, that a lot of our thinking on foreign affairs, strategy, war, typically comes out of the Western world, and not so much out of our reading of the Mahabharata, Ramayana, which you keep going back to in your book, and that's something which I found to be a real eye-opener, and I was wowed by how you brought it all together to present the India way as it is right now. And why is that so important to you, Dr. Jaishankar?
Well, it's something which, I wrote it in the book, but it's something which I had thought about for a long time, partly because for me, Mahabharata has always been probably the greatest sort of strategic book ever written. There isn't a situation in the world you encounter which doesn't have some kind of analogy out there. And it's something which, from probably my early teens, you've been absorbing it. But I wrote it at that point of time. In fact, interestingly, one person with whom I discussed a lot of that was Sushma Swaraj. And I wrote it at that time, partly because I felt that India has changed. If you look today, at our politics, at our personality, at the aspirations, at actually how much, in a sense, deeper, broader our system has struck roots. The widening of people, where are people drawn from, who today are setting the debate, discussing the big issues of the day. I think we have become a much broader, much more diversified, much more truer reflection of our country. And such people, I felt, would readily relate to an argument which was long inside me, which is, please look at your